first thought, submit spirit before matter. Our celestial humanity arrives, awake in a dream, an inception of our reality. So we live, we love, and then there is music. So we dance, we sing, we praise, we reflect. In the infinite in between, the now that was, faces dance in our dreams. Some familiar, some
a single vision radio.
Cosmic composition. In the irrelevance of this time, we realize the passion of the random capture, learning the lesson that the brotherhood of man is far more important than the ego of any individual. Imagination becomes the sound of thought, traveling at the speed of light. So we paint on the canvas of our ephemeral encounters with nothing. A masterpiece of memory that lives in the eternity of a child's. Here with Malik, Alston, renowned artist and musician in Detroit. And we're going to be asking some questions about his craft and whatnot. And, so Malik, music is life. That was one of your albums. It's a profound...
This music is life, yeah.
This music is life.
Mm-hmm.
One of your profound statements. Expound on that profound truth for us.
Well, first and foremost, good morning, world.
Good morning.
How y'all doing? Y'all
All
feeling
right.
all right?
Yeah.
I'm feeling great.
Good.
All right. This music is life. Very reflective. When you think about the gamut of music and how it interacts with our life every day. Music, there's a song for every moment, a song for every minute, every second of the day. So music is easily a reflection of what life is. And for me, I've done a lot of writing and done a lot of constant soul searching. So I try to put that to pen or to these fingertips and show you what life has done for me, and in the same thing, in the same breath, what music has done for me. So this music is life. It's definitely about experience and the constant and new experiences that I have gone through and continue to go through. So I think that sums it up. Do I need to expound upon that?
No, that's good. That's good. All right. Tell us what initially inspired your love for music.
Oh man. Well, what initially inspired my love for music. I was a little kid and always music being played in the crib. My mom who was a pianist and a songwriter and classically trained, and which I didn't really get a chance to see that part of her life. She stopped doing that after she had a family. But I always saw her noodling or playing the piano only. Why did I say noodle? She would play, and she would play and then stop, play a little bit. I didn't realize that, some of that time she was writing, and for the longest, it wasn't until I was writing that she told me that those were her songs that she was playing most of the time. My mom loved the fact that I sang. She wanted me to have piano lessons, but by the time I came up, all my siblings, my cousins, first cousins, all had music lessons. By the time I was the youngest out of all of them, by the time I came around, no more music lessons. So I was thoroughly hurt because I loved music as a kid. So that was one of my outlets was music. Hearing it in the house and hearing all different styles of music was definitely influential, ranging from Earth, Wind, and Fire to classical pieces, all different types, from pianists to solo instruments, like piano and sax, and then listen to all different types of jazz artists. So my dad and my mom were pretty heavy into music, and they loved music. They were definitely good stewards of music. My dad wasn't into music like my mom, but he was a lover of like hi-fis and stuff like that. So we always had the latest and greatest sound system while he was around.
How can and how has your music helped to bring healing? How important is that for you? Help you elevation artists?
Well, what do you mean by elevation artists?
Uplifting.
Okay.
I consider you an uplifting artist because your music is inspiring and motivating.
Thank you. That's very important. I am rooted and started and still part of Christian. Studied a lot of things, and I'm thankful that I did that so that I can get back to the foundation of what has kept me, foundation of what has even blessed me to be able to write music because I wasn't formally trained. Uh, I was formally trained as a vocalist, but not as a musician. And for me, I am very, very, very thankful that God blessed me with that gift to be able to write music and eventually be confident enough to step out and play my own music. You know, there's a whole lot of writers, songwriters that and music producers that they could play, but they don't show you. Like put that gift to the forefront. And I'm thankful God allowed me to be gifted enough, confident enough to say, okay, you're gonna love these bad notes.
Like Miles said, there's no bad notes.
That's right.
Miles said there's no bad notes.
That's right. So, but that's only if you understand what you're doing.
Right.
He didn't say that part.
Right.
He didn't say that you needed to understand the craft of improvisation as well as understanding the boundaries and the non-boundaries of music. So, okay, what am I gonna do with this note? Well, he was able to take a note and say, okay, we're gonna change the chord structure around that, and we're gonna make that note good. And that's the same way I think about music. It's like it's often I'm always recreating my own stuff, and creating new stuff, or being part of the creation, because it's not always me. Maybe I'm following somebody else's lead and I'm improvising over their stuff, writing to their stuff, or adding to their music.
Name some giants in your mind in ways that you felt they had a profound impact on the world.
Oh man. One of the most underrated giants to me is Ella Fitzgerald. Ella Fitzgerald to me changed the landscape of how the voice was perceived in jazz music and also in gospel, because a lot of great gospel artists listen and study Ella. Like a lot of times people don't realize, like the Clark sisters, they studied Ella. There's a lot of things that are very parallel in music, and Ella was just a instrument, and most people don't know that Ella played too. She was a phenomenal pianist, so both of those things added to even her adding to her greatness as a vocalist. To me, if not the greatest, one of the greatest. Herbie Hancock is another one that I love. You mentioned Miles Davis. I love Miles Davis. Miles didn't mind breaking the rules. Prince is another one that I enjoyed because he was another rule breaker. He did what he wanted to do, for the most part, when he was able to do what he did. Monk is another one. Harold McKinney is another one. It's Al McKenzie, a mentor of mine. Harold was a psychological mentor. He didn't necessarily show me how to play, but he talked to me a lot when I was in my development stages, and he supported me. He was one of those people that wouldn't allow me to give him anything free. He would always buy it. So he valued my work, which made me value my work even more. because here was somebody that was phenomenal, great, and youngster coming along, doing poetry, freestyling, improvising, and writing. He was for it. He really gave me a lot of wind underneath my wings. Same thing with Al. Al was the first Al McKenzie. If you don't know who that is, please go and research Al McKenzie. Al was a keyboardist, songwriter that played for some of everybody when it comes to Motown. And Al was one of my musical teachers. Even though I didn't really have many, but Al was one of those people that he was showing me my scales, right? And I'm learning my scales, and every time I learned my scales, I would go home and write a song, in the scale, in the key. I would practice way more on the writing of the song than the scale, even though I was supposed to be practicing my scale. So every time I go to class, he was like, "Okay, show me your scales." And I was like, "Show my scale." And he said, "What you been doing? You sound like you just started doing the scale. I gave that to you last week. You should be proficient." And I said, "Well, I wrote this song," and this kid, was playing the show, the song. And I wrote this song in this scale, and I did this with this scale. And he was like, "But Malik is still not." He said, "Yeah, that's a really different way of learning." But you turn it around backwards. You're supposed to do the other thing first, and then go,
You just
learn how to
right hand side. That's all.
and I never stopped doing that, because it just felt natural. It wasn't something that I was trying to force. Me just trying to learn my scales and constantly doing that over and over. It wasn't that I was lazy. It would just music would come.
Yeah.
And it'd be like, okay, I was always, and I always have been obedient to the music for the most part. I need to do more songwriting now because I have a lot of songs in my head. But I'm saying that when I was in the midst of finding who I was, the tutelage of this brother, and allowing me not saying, "Don't do that." He didn't tell me that. He just said, "Okay, keep doing that, but you need to practice your skill." And then, after a little bit, he was like, "Ain't really much I can teach you. You already kind of got it. You just need to practice and keep practicing your stuff. You're already doing everything everybody wants to do, right? Including myself. So you keep doing that and keep focusing on that." And he was also the first person who gave me my first singing gig. And paid singing. And he would always tell me, "Oh man, that song was beautiful. I don't know if everybody recognized it because you changed it up so much." He said, "But the audience still loves you. So it's kind of hard for me to tell you stop doing what you're doing because you're well received every time you do something because you put your heart and soul in it. And it doesn't matter whether or not the song is right or wrong." And he would say that after he really saw that, after we gig, well, I won't even say it wasn't even a year. I would say maybe about 2 years. He was like, "You really need to focus on your own stuff." He said, "You have your own voice. You don't sound like anybody else. You have your own unique sound." He said, "It takes people a lifetime sometimes to do that." He said, "You really need to focus on that." and that's one of the things I did. His first album. He was also my first paid studio session. Went in the studio, wrote. We collaborated on a song, 3 songs. It took him about 20 years to put it out because he was always working for everybody else. He worked for the Temps, worked for Martha Reeves, worked for a long list of different. And he was their band leader. So he was pretty heavy in the crowd, and he was always working. So it took him a long time to get to his own stuff. And he realized, he said, man, I should have been making everybody else money. I need to be making my own money. And I said, yeah, you should. It was interesting because we inspired each other. He looked at me like, man, I want to do what you do. I was like, but you're already doing so much great stuff. No, I want to do what you do. You writing every day, you doing, great music, you writing all kind of music, not just in one lane. I want to do what you do. I said, well, you can do it. I got to put your mind to it. It's just time aside for yourself. That'd be a little selfish. Okay. And then a few years later, we ended up putting out that first album that we wrote 20 years before that. And it's interesting because one of the songs was like a tribute to his unborn baby. And now his baby was like 21 years old or 22 years old.
Wow.
So it was like wow, think about that whole thing. Right. And it's like when you think about, and even to be able to say she wrote a song 20 years ago and has the longevity to still have reverence and presence 20 years later.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that is. That's very good.
Did I answer the question okay?
Yeah. That was excellent. Next question. How important is family, both biological and socio-spiritual, to develop one's talents?
Oh my goodness, man. That is really important because, I'll give you a scenario and how I really started really focusing on my own stuff. I was a youngster who was a very good vocalist, but not a soloist. And I wanted to be a soloist. So I worked very, very hard on perfecting a sound, studying other musicians and songwriters and singers. I mentioned Clark Sisters earlier. They were definitely influential in life. I studied Ella later on in life after I realized, how much of an influence her sound was to the world. And Al Jarreau is another one that I didn't mention earlier, but Al definitely affected me because I felt like Al broke the rules. I'm probably a habitual rule breaker when it comes to music. So getting back to that question, what was the question again?
How important is family, both biological and socio-spiritual, to develop one's talents?
Okay, so I've always been fortunate enough to have support from my family in developing my music and pushing my music out. My sister's probably one of my greatest advocates. She's always been around, whether I was doing gospel music or whether I was doing soul or doing hip hop or doing jazz or doing funk or doing house or techno. She's always been around, always supported. Even if she may not have felt that was my best lane to be in, she's always supported me. And anytime that I ran into some bumps in the road and needed help financially, she was there and has been there my whole life. My brother-in-law's a musician, and we played I always wanted to play in church. I never had a chance to play in church because when I was coming up, I was, always singing, you know, my playing, I didn't feel that confident in it. So it took me a while to be confident as a musician. Because I grew up with child prodigies. So you said family. So some of these child prodigies were like family. So they would encourage me, hey, why you not doing your own music? Why you guys trying to get everybody else to play your music when you can play? Well, I can't play like you. I mean, these are child prodigies, people playing for Aretha Franklin, all kind. I mean, just a long list of things that they did. Musicians, these were truly child prodigies and the best in the country, or some of the best in the world. You know, kind of people that could hear a song one time and play it back, note for note, and sometimes 10 times better than what the song originally sounded. Those kind of people. So for me, it was like, well, I'm gonna play when I can get this person to play for me. And I ran into a predicament because I had, by me not being, and this is before I got with Al, my hand configurations are different than the average keyboardist, because I just did what I needed to do to make the chords, to make the progressions, to do the solos, whatever. I did all that in a certain type of style because I'm left-handed. So I approach everything differently than the average person, or the average right-hand person. So a lot of times cats play bass line in some chords in their left hand, and then they solo chord with their the right hand. Well, I always play chords, most of my chords, in my left hand, and solo and the other stuff with my right hand. So my approach towards writing was more on a jazz vibe, kind of, and that's a jazz keyboardist that has a bass player, not one that's playing bass lines too as well. So getting, I know I'm saying I'm all over the place, you know, but reining that back into family. So I had friends, a few close friends that were ridiculous as keyboardists and organists, you know, and they played for me, and they're the ones that kind of taught me how to be funky, because they were funky unbelievably, incredibly funky. So, you know, being around, you know, being around that and studying Parliament and studying all these funk groups. And I had my sister was an avid record collector too as well, and she collected gospel and R&B, and soul and funk, and a little bit of jazz. My mom collected more jazz. So all of this was at the house, you know, being played most of the time, you know, and it was my palette, and again, it's how important. Without my mom, without my sister, without these family members that were musicians and god brothers and whatever you want to call them, you know, they shaped and molded me in a lot of ways, you know. So without them, I wouldn't be Malik Alston. There would be no Malik Alston without them and God. Because, you know, God always weighed heavy on my heart. As a youngin', I remember a couple of girls thought I was going to be a minister because I was a young Christian and I was devoted, you know what I'm saying? But I liked to party because I was from the hood. So it's like a combination of both. It's like I understood both lives, you know, and I always thought it was important to be able to relate and be normal, you know, and to this day I still feel that way. It's important to be able to meet people at the grassroots, where they are, regardless of your spirituality. Your spirituality should show through everything, You shouldn't have to cloak and dagger it in order, you shouldn't be behind closed doors doing strange things. If you're a strange person, you should be strange, and people should know that. And still, you still should be devoted to God if that's if that's who you are, and then God will also take away some of that strangeness that ain't of Him. So, getting back to the correlation between what I'm talking about and family. There's a lot of people that are in my life that are not necessarily. I come from a small family. It's not a lot of us. And I remember I was trying to make a breakthrough with releasing a project, and a cousin in Philly, first cousin in Philly, asked me, what did I need to make it happen? And he loaned me money, never asked for it back ever. And family is real important. I just say that as one thing, one factor. I think no success is by itself. Everyone's success, and success doesn't always mean financial. Success means being able to respect yourself, being able to respect what God has given you, and being able to do it, and being respected for it and loved for it. This world is really big, so people always say, why you focus on pushing your music overseas? Because that's where I'm well received. But at the same token, I've done a tour here before, and it went well, better than where I thought it would go. So sometimes it's being able to say, reaching outside your boundaries, letting any and everybody know who you are and what you do and what you love, and being diligent enough to live that life. People either love you or hate you. That's my results. I don't want no in between. I want love, or you don't like me. That's fine. I don't care if you don't like me, because that just means that there's more people or more opportunity for someone else. Because often people, when they hear people say negative things, they want to find out who that person is. Why they keep talking about this guy or this woman? They want to know, and then they find out, and they're like, hold on a second, I like this person. So all of it's, reflective, and I think we're all connected. It's just all about finding the light to reach the next person. Finding that light, finding that connection, finding that message to reach the next person, and to reach yourself, man. Constantly, what God has given me has been seed for my life. Message I got from the song I wrote. Didn't know I was going to talk about that, but being open enough to talk about it. All right.
Yeah, that's excellent. Tell us about the importance of environment as it relates to artistic expression.
The environment?
Yeah.
Oh man. Ain't no hood like Linwood. I can leave it at that.
Okay.
Or I can go deeper.
Okay.
Environment is everything. Having the opportunity to see where your music can take you. I had an opportunity to go to Japan off of my music. never thought I'd get to Japan in my life. So I say that your dreams, you can manifest your dreams. You just gotta believe. You gotta believe. Everybody got a spot that's hot. That's just a reality. You believe enough in yourself, and you put your life where your mouth is. Not just I'm on. You talking about love, but you ain't never loved nobody. Oh, you can't do that. Don't talk about love. That ain't for you. Talk about something else that you have lived. I say love because a lot of times people speak on love, but so a lot of people don't really know what love is. And I guess that's kind of harsh. It's a reality too.
Yeah.
You live in realities, not fantasies. When I say manifest, that's taking that fantasy or that dream or that vision and working on it in the real world, putting it here, not just inside your brain or inside your heart, but putting it here, making it happen, manifesting a project, manifesting a song, letting the world hear it, letting them make the decision of whether it should be the best song in the world or song number 1,005,000 billion. There's a lot of music out here, so
What are some key factors in being a successful and elevated artist?
Being a good steward of your craft, working on music. I spend a lot of time working on music every day to perfect or be comfortable. Let's not say perfect, because that's garbage. I don't think you ever, every now and then in life, God bless you with one or two that you perfect. But you probably won't know. The reality of it is being diligent enough to keep being consistent to where you're comfortable enough to say, wow, I did that. This is something great. These musicians that I coached or that I told what I wanted were able to deliver my dream and beyond that, through the seeds that I planted in them. Or vice versa. You don't know where your blessing is going to come. All of it's a blessing. So to me, that's successful. Staying elevated is elevating your life on the daily, realizing, okay, I'm feeling down. What do I do to get up? Sometimes you need to stay down, stay on your knees and pray. And not put so much of yourself in your solution, and allow God to show you the solution, or the higher power, or whatever. However you perceive the thing that leads you in your life, however you perceive, for me it's Christ. So I'm not ashamed to say that. I'm very happy to know that in the midst of my lowest and my greatest, and even when I had no clue what was going on in my life, Jesus has kept saved me and removed me from that dirt, brushed my shoulders off, allowed me and my wife to shine even when we're going through darkness, because ain't nothing perfect. And I say that to couples in the world, have faith, believe in God, put God first. remove yourself sometimes. Remove yourself as much as you possibly can. Keep God at the front of your relationship. Allow God to lead your relationship and lead you and your significant other. And you won't have, even when you feel like you're in the mud, you're rolling around in the mud together, you feel like you're still together. You feel like, oh, okay, we just got a shower now. Or we need to get in the bathtub. Whatever. It'd be a solution there that'll allow you to rise up from being in a lower state of mind, staying elevated, staying positive. So, and then positive people, man. That old saying, birds of a feather flock together, that is so true. If you flock with a bunch of negative vultures, then eventually it's going to rub off on you. And you either going to see your way out of that trials and tribulation, or you're going to become part of the problem. So you have to realize what do you want out of life? Where do you want to be? And even more, where does God want you to be? Does he want his servant to waddle in the mud? And if it's yes, it's only so that you can know how to shine and help somebody else get their dirt off of them. Give them an example. Hey, you muddy, bruh. You muddy, sis. You need a bath. And I ain't just talking about water. I'm talking about spirituality. That might sound deep, but I think it's simple too. And the older I get, the more I understand. It's simple. It's not complex. Loving somebody is simple. It's not complex. We make it complex because we want to add everything else. We want to take, a simple picture and muddy it up. I guess that's my word for that. Muddy. But also my word is clean. It's time to clean it up. Let's clean it up. Let's make this world a better place. Let's make our worlds a better place. Start there, man. But I'm not saying be perfect, though. I want to say that.
Yeah,
saying,
I understand that.
I'm saying, if you see imperfection, work on perfecting it. And
imperfection is what makes things great sometimes.
Oh, it's all the time. Really, to be honest, it ain't. To me, music is one of the greatest imperfections because a lot of times people do stuff in music for the wrong reasons. So that's an imperfection right there. But that don't mean that it's not the right reason for somebody else. Each one teach one, and often you're teaching yourself. Some of the best lessons I've learned from God talking through me mentoring somebody else, and God giving me words. I'm like, man, hold on a second. That's me too. Wow. And being honest enough to say, hold on a second. These words I'm saying to you apply to me too. So I'm not just blowing, because sometimes people just blow smoke up. They just, God this, God that. And the next moment they out here, being a hellion and doing all kind of stuff that they know they shouldn't. And again, I'm not saying be perfect, but be honest. Be honest with people so that the word can actually meet their heart, their spirit. Be honest. Be honest to yourself. I think that's how your message really gets across. If you're really living it, if you're giving it, you're living it, you're in it, you love it. I'm thankful God has blessed me, and and He's got a lot more things to do for you. And that applies to y'all too. You know, go buy my record. I got a new record out called Beyond Jazz, Volume 1. Volume 2 comes out October the 24th, my birthday. And then Volume 3 and 4 will be out next year. But those are the first two. It's going to be a 4-volume series. And I am very thankful, very, very, very thankful to be able to release this music that is also reflective of my radio show. So I have a radio show called Beyond Jazz, and that's one of the reasons why I'm doing this 4-volume series. About wanting to let people know how the music that they are sending me, the music that I bought, the music that I grew up on, the music that has been a reflection in my life, how important it is and why. You know, so it's kind of like a look into my life. You know, Beyond Jazz.
2 more questions.
Okay.
Alright. You can arrange this how you want for the 2. But I came up with fathers teach us focus, mothers teach us love. Explore that statement. You can turn it around which way you want to look at it.
Fathers teach us focus,
mothers teach us love.
Okay. I can agree with that. My father, the short time that I had him, was definitely a
Disciplinary.
Thank you. Say it one more time.
Disciplinary.
A disciplinarian. I always mess that word up.
Yeah.
Discipline. So, coming up was about learning what to do, what not to do, and what gets you in trouble. And I say that from my father being a disciplinarian. He was a person that would allow you to make a mistake, but then show you what mistake you made, and then show you how to do it the right way. And that's not saying that it was always that way, you know. There was a lot of things he showed me first, and then if I messed it up, then he would come back and teach me again how to do it the right way. You know, so repetition. You know, people wonder, okay, well, how can you hear one thing and write a song about it? Repetition. How can you? I studied how to write. I studied styles. So how do you know how to write jazz, or how to write funk, how to write R&B, how to write dance music? I studied the music. I listened to music 24/7, and not from the average standpoint of just enjoying it. I studied it because I wanted to learn how to make it. And singing was the first tool, and then playing was the second. Playing keys, playing piano, playing synthesizers. Those things opened me up to being a better writer. You know, and then experimenting with that, sitting there, putting time in, spending the whole day, you know, working a regular normal job, and then going to the studio, investing in myself, taking money that I earned, you know, paying my bills, and take everything else I earned and buying equipment, making an investment, you know, learning the equipment, learning how to do things on the equipment, learning how to sequence, learning how to, before that, learning how to write songs, you know, verse, chorus, repetition, which goes back to my dad. You know, you're gonna, one of his things, he had a softball team that most of the hood, before it really got the hood, played on my father's baseball. Some of the greatest thugs in this neighborhood play on my father's baseball team. Yeah, that's crazy, but real, you know. And a lot of them valued my father like their father, because a lot of them didn't have fathers. And so when I was ready to hit these streets and do damage, they wouldn't let me. So that, you know, again, repetition, positive energy. My father put positive energy into the world, and some of the people that became some of the worst people in the world still reflected on that light, and that light saved my life. What was the other one? Love?
Yeah, your mother's teachers love.
Man, I think, you know, well, you know, they say the world is a mother in a lot of ways, you know, so yeah, the world teach you love too, you know what I'm saying? But mom getting up every day, being diligent to be a mother, showing me what a mother is, yeah, you know, in her roundabout way, she never forced me into music, even though that was her love. She loved me more than that. She was like, I'm gonna stop doing music for my family. I don't think I ever could do that. Just being very honest, that is what taught me how to love myself, is music. So when I look at my mom's love and her sacrifices and things that she did and has done, wow. You know, my mom loved music so much she would allow my sister's friends' community choir to practice in our home. We didn't have a place to practice because we had an organ and piano in our home. That's a serious sacrifice. Have somebody come in your living room, you know, move your tables out the way, take all your good furniture, put it in the corner somewhere, and then find every chair in the house, put your chairs in the dining room and living room, and y'all practice. That's a lot of love.
Yeah.
You know, and so she loved music, she loved her family. She was an incredible. She's no longer with me. He is my father. You know, to my ancestors, thank you for constantly guiding, keeping me, making me learn those lessons that I needed to learn to be better.
Last question. What is your favorite instrument and why?
Man, I used to always say favorite instrument was keys, but now I really look at it, man, it's the voice. No instrument in the world do people pay more attention to than the voice. The voice can emulate any other instrument. No other instrument can emulate the voice like the voice. Voice is the first instrument. Most people say the drum is. No, voice is. Voice is the first instrument.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for the interview, sir.
Yes, sir. I was wondering if you could we'll talk about that. Alright. Thank you very much.
Just a little improv.
Hey, brother.
You're welcome, sir.
Thank you so much.
Long time coming, Detroit became paradise and we all lost our damn minds. We forgot to pay attention or your focus was misdirected. Either way it goes, the mothership landed and Detroit got branded. A rebellion is not a riot and funk is not quiet. Wherever you are, honk your lights and flash your horns. The DFA is in session. Shifts in perception are subliminally taught. Long time coming. Detroit became paradise. Rebellion is not a riot, and funk is not quiet. Wherever you are, honk your lights and flash your horns. The DFA is in session. Shifts in perception are subliminally taught. Sugar is sugar, salt is salt. If you didn't get off, long time coming. Detroit became paradise. Long time coming. Detroit became paradise and we all lost our damn minds. A rebellion is not a riot. And funk is not quiet. Shifts in perception.